we'll do one halach in the Rambam, and they have to get back to the sugya. We're going to continue 2 more sugyas, the one that we're in and 1 more on the dafim that we're on, and then we're going to go to the Mishnah later on. As I said, the Rosh Yeshivas are. We're going to do the first part of the parak and the third part of the parak. That's the plan. But anyway, the Rambam tells us in Hilchos Talmud Torah. That's what we are discussing. Hilchos Talmud Torah. We did parak Aleph. We're up to parak Beis. Parak Beis is the parak about yeshivas. So B'schus are talking about yeshivas. We should be zochet to all be back in yeshiva. Moshivin melamed tinokos. B'chol medina medina. Every city and every village needs a Rebbe. Needs a Rebbe. You can't live in a city or a village without a Rebbe. Any city that has no yeshiva, you force the townspeople. At least in elementary school. Malami Tinokos, right? There are some places out of town that don't have high schools. Where's Neville? Where's Shlomo? I don't think in East Bend, West Bend. Where's he live? Right? That I don't think there's a high school there. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a yeshiva high school, but he went to Skokie. But to not have a high school, okay, but to have a basic elementary school, that's something that is needed, and it's basic. I remember my sister lived in Indianapolis for 7 years. She went out. Her husband's a doctor. They went out. They had a 7-year plan. Go out there for 7 years and then save enough money and then make Aliyah, which Baruch Hashem they did. So she said she looked in a bunch of different communities. What they need: a shul, a school, an eruv, and a mikvah. That's it. Those are the basics. A shul, a school, an eruv, and a mikvah. You're not going to be in a place without an eruv. You're not going to be in a place without a mikvah. And a shul and a school. Those are the 4 requirements for community. Not every community have them. But anyway, so the Rambam says you have to have a school. If not, you leave the city. Because the world exists with the Hevel Pihem, with the words of Torah of the little children. The little children, right? We can't fathom this. But the Rambam's going to say what Chazal say: there's never a day of the year that you're mevatel the children from learning. Again, if there's pikuach nefesh, pikuach discussion a few months ago, when some of the yeshivas, some of the Rosh Yeshivas were saying, well, even though there's corona, we have to learn because this keeps the world going. If there's pikuach nefesh, that's docha everything. Ain't somchen al hanes. One has to recognize that the Torah of anyone is unbelievable, but also in somchen al hanes. But there's every day. There's a school in Yerushalayim. Very few schools like this in the world. There is one school, I think they have a school every single day of the year, except for Tisha B'Av. It's one of the Zilbermans in the old city. Tisha B'Av, maybe Erev Yom Kippur. I don't remember the other. But they all have to live there if they have school on Shabbos. But maybe we shouldn't call it school. We call it learning, right? Because schools has a negative connotation. But that's what the Rambam says, that it's a basic idea. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs writes in one of his books that other nations build monuments. Jews build schools. You go into a community, what's the first thing that Jews do? They build a school. They have a school because education we recognize as the secret of continuity. Right? The Romans and the Greeks and the Persians and the Babylonians. Where are they? We know what the secret is. The secret is education, continuity to the next generation, and that's why it's so crucial to give over. Right? All the holidays. That's so much of a role that's played from parent to child. The Yigadah Levincha, the Shinantam Levanecha, right? So much is focused on a father and a parent, and we have to do, some again that are still in one's houses. It's there's been intense family time. I could say that from personal experience. So we have to recognize as much as we can to try to appreciate. I would say for the guys in yeshiva, there's been a lack of intense family time for many months. But exactly the opposite, right? It's the opposite challenge. One has to try to stay connected as close as possible while not being there. I would say each is challenging. If there's too much, there shouldn't be too much. If there's much family time or very little, those extremes make it challenging in both directions. One has to try to find the balance that is the happy medium of the relationship that could thrive. Okay, that's the Rambam in Halacha Aleph. More halachas of about the ages, but we'll stop there. Let's get back to our sugya that we are in the middle of doing. Okay, who we missing? We got everybody now. Yaakov here. You still with us somewhere? He was asking for the link before. Get the list to see who else is. So don't forget anybody. Well, he's with you. Okay, great. Levi, is Levi around? He is still involved in Kabbalah Torah. He's still involved. He's keeping he doesn't want to leave Shuas. Okay, that's just, he's a holy Jew. He's a holy Jew. Ephraim, Avram, Yosef, Aaron, Yonatan, Eli, Eli, Naphtali, Yehuda, Avram, Shlomo, Zakai, Dov, Yedidya. Yedidya? You around? Yedidya's not around. Yaakov, Natanel, Mikey. Okay, Yedidya. Mikey, good to see you. Welcome to the show. And we're great to have you on. And Hashem, we hope that you keep joining us every single day. Great to learn with you. Okay, Rabosai, let's get back to our sugya. Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph in the Seches Baba Basra, longest Masechta in Shas, and we're talking about a topic that comes up in many different places, and that's the sugya of Kal V'chomer and Gzeira Shava. Right? How do we get into this? Remember the Tosfos on Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph spoke about the Kal V'chomer, about Miriam, and she should be embarrassed for 14 days, and Tayo. So that was the sugya there on Kuf Yud Aleph Amid Aleph. Tosfos discussed, is it a Kal V'chomer? Tosfos said it's not a Kal V'chomer, it's a real drasha, right? That was based on the double parent situation with the Gemara in Nida. And I think the last thing we did on Sunday also, part of it was the difference between a Gilui Milsa and a Kal V'chomer. Know that Kesef Mishnah. That's the crucial makar regarding that topic. The first Kesef Mishnah in Ilchos Tumas Meis, but the Kesef Mishnah explains that Rambam, the Rambam at the beginning of Ilchos Tumas Meis, that the Torah doesn't say eating basar b'chalav. It's learned out from bishul basar b'chalav. The Rambam doesn't say bas habas. It doesn't say bas, daughter, but it says bas habas. The Rambam uses the lashon of Kal V'chomer, but ask the Kesef Mishnah. But you can't punish based on the Kal V'chomer. We'll get back to that Hashem today. So what does the Rambam mean? The Kesef Mishnah says it doesn't really mean Kal V'chomer. It means Gilui Milsa. It means that when the Torah says daughter's daughter, it's reflecting that daughter is also Asur. But it doesn't mean Kal V'chomer, and we explained the difference. The difference we said, Nathaniel, I think you all crystallized this last week. Remember, the difference is between whether it's within one context or two different contexts. A Kal V'chomer is two different contexts. If it applies to A, surely it applies to B. But the Rambam's talking about Arayos. Within Arayos, there's daughter and daughter's daughter. So included in daughter's daughter is daughter. Included in Basar B'chalav is benefiting and eating. It's all included in the same thing. That's called Gilui Milsa. So maybe that's what the Gemara means in this context as well. It means when there's embarrassment to a parent, by a parent. Embarrassment by a parent, so it's not really a Kal V'chomer of a parent to Hashem. When it says parent, included in that is Hashem, who's the super parent. So it's really a Gilui Milsa. It's not really a Kal V'chomer. So that could be how Rabbeinu Tam would answer the question of Tosfos. That was all part one. But then we got into the Kal V'chomer Gzeira Shava idea itself. And there's a very crucial, again, if you haven't seen it inside yet, so after Shir, please during Seder, read through those parts of the Shorish Beis of the Rambam. Again, every Shorish of the Rambam and the Ramban is long, but I told you the exact pages, and I think I took the picture. It's on the chat. 4 pages, just the Ramban on top, relating to Gzeira Shava. We got into Gzeira Shava versus Kal V'chomer. Right, those are the first two on the list of Rabbi Yishmael. Why those two picked first? What is unique about those two? Those two ideas, Gzeira Shava. So we saw the machlokas, again, it's been a while, so let's just review for 2 minutes. We saw the machlokas between Rashi and Tosfos in Sukkah on Daf Lamed Aleph. Sukkah Lamed Aleph. That was the machlokas between the Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda about whether you could use a dried out lulav. Whether you could use a dried out lulav. You cannot use a dried out esrog. What about a dried out lulav? Has anybody ever seen a dried out lulav in their lives? I think I mentioned this in the Moshe Feinstein biography. It says that in Russia, he used the same lulav 3 years in a row. They couldn't get any more lulav. He was the rabbi of the town, and he kept it in whatever, something. He used the same lulav 3 years in a row. So we think we know what Yavish means. I think, like, oh yeah, 5 days into Sukkot, a little dried out. We don't have no idea what Yavish means. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein had to analyze what was Yavish or not. But that's a machlokas tanoim, whether a lulav Yavish is kosher or pasul. Rabbi Yehuda says it's kosher, and Rabbi the Tanakhama say it's pasul. What's the machlokas about? The Gemara says maybe the machlokas is whether we are makshinan lulav le'esrog. Esrog has hadar, whether lulav has hadar. What's that issue? What's that issue of whether you're makshinan lulav le'esrog? So Rashi says, question is whether the machlokas is whether they had a mesorah from their Rebbe about the tekish. Because after all, Rashi says, the only one you can learn yourself is a kal v'chomer. That you could come up with yourself. But when it comes to tekish, that you need a Rebbe for. That's Rashi. Lamed Aleph in here in Sukkah. Lo hukshu lilmod them, he said. Lo nitam lidrosh me'atzmo. Because you gimel midos. So turn the kal v'chomer. Kal v'chomer is the only one you can do yourself. Tekish, you need a Rebbe, says Rashi. And therefore, Rabbi Yehuda didn't have that mesorah from his Rebbe, and therefore, he didn't say it. That is Rashi. Look in Tosfos. Tosfos says, no, chas v'shalom. What does Tosfos say? Everything you can darshan yourself, even smuchin. Remember we said, Tosfos says, what's the difference between hekish and smuchin? One of the ABCs in drushos that not everybody realizes. Right? There's hekish and smuchin. Smuchin are two different psukim. Hekish is in the same pasuk. Tosfos says, even smuchin we darshan yourself. Different psukim. Surely a hekish. So Tosfos says, no, they're arguing about svara. Whether lulav and maybe hadar only applies to fruit, not to lulavs. But it's not dafka, from the mesorah. Because Tosfos says you can darshan everything yourself, except the gzeirah shav. So we have these two poles, Rashi and Tosfos, highlighted for us. Kal v'chomer for sure, yourself. Gzeirah shava for sure, not yourself. Everything else in the middle is a machlokas between Rashi and Tosfos. Rashi and Tosfos. So what is it about kal v'chomer? What is it about gzeirah shav? What is it? So we started to discuss this. We did not read inside yet, but I hope you saw it. The Gemara in Tzachim. Tzachim Samach Vav is where the Gemara says on the bottom of Amud Aleph, Ein Adam Dan Gzeirah Shava Me'atzma. Ein Adam Dan Gzeirah Shava Me'atzma. Says what's the context of that Gemara? Anybody look up that Gemara in Tzachim Samach Vav Amud Aleph? I know it's been a long time. If you didn't look there, but that's the Gemara about Dov.
The thing with Hillel trying to be Dorish Pesach, the current Pesach being able to be bought on Shabbos from Mamatzinu, Kal v'chomer, and Hekesh, I believe.
When Erev Pesach is on Shabbos, next year, Rabbosai, Bez Hashem, you're Shana Bet or Shana Gimel, as we'll talk about in the future. But when Erev Pesach falls out on Shabbos, it's very interesting. There's also, I think, Purim Mishulash, the 3-day Purim in Yerushalayim, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, and it's always the same year. Purim Mishulash and Erev Pesach Shkali Shabbos. So the question is, what do you do about Purim Pesach? So they didn't know whether Purim Pesach was Docha Shabbos or not until Hillel came and taught them. It's an amazing, just that a Musar story. You don't got Gemara yet. The Gemara mentions that Hillel came. B'nai B'Sera with a Rosh Yeshiva. They didn't know the halacha. This stranger comes from far away, gives a shir, and nobody knew the halacha. What happened? The Rosh Yeshiva say, we are stepping down. You become the Rosh Yeshiva. That's what happened. It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable musar. You are. You're it. That's what happened earlier, but that's the context of the Gemara, and they learn out based on a limud that Korban Pesach is Docha Shabbos, and the deal is also based on a Kavachomer, right at the bottom of the Amud. And the Gemara says it's a Kavachomer and a Gzera Shava, without reading the Gemara again. The Gemara asks, if you have a Gzera Shava, if you have a Kavachomer, what do you need a Gzera Shava for? For the opposite. Once you have a Gzera Shava, we need the Kavachomer. Lidu Kamar Luhu. Ishlama Gzera Shava Lo Gamrisu. You want to say you don't know the Gzera Shava, fine. But it's a Kavachomer, it's logic. So how could you argue? That's where the Gemara says, right? That's the Gemara here, Samach of Amud Aleph. And the question is then, why is that? Why is that? If you're a member of Chazal, you could darshan a hekesh, right? Two things together. You could darshan a Prado Cloud, Ribo, all these tools at your service. If you're a Tana, if you're Rabbi Akiva, you can darshan. You can darshan the crowns on the letters. There's so much to darshan, and all of a sudden, no, not Gzera Shava. Gzera Shava, you cannot darshan on by yourself. Why is that excluded? That's compared to all the other ones. So we mentioned Gzera Shava is unique. Gzera Shava is pure Mesorah. Gzera Shava, you need a Rebbe for. Why? The Ramban writes, we saw that. Because Gzera Shava is all about connecting two words in two different places. If you don't have a Mesorah for that, it's very dangerous. Because every large book is going to have words that are written multiple times. You can't not write the word Vayomer, Yadaber, Heves. It's going to say that a ton of times. So it says the Ramban. It has to be that you need a Mesorah. If you don't have a Mesorah, it's a big problem. And Ein L'Davar Sof. Ein L'Davar Sof. That is what the Ramban writes in the beginning of Shorish Beis. Yet every large book requires Blister bo kol dini Torah. Yatevos yichbalu b'Torah kama pa'amim. Efshar l'sefer gadol lios klo b'milos mechudashos. And therefore, it says the Ramban, Gzera Shava requires a Rebbe. And that's why Gzera Shava goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu. And we saw those Rashis. It's written b'ferish in the Torah. Fine. The last thing we did, finishing up the review. If it goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu, what's the problem? What's the problem? Who remembers the questions that we asked? If it goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu, give me one question. Avram, Naphtali, yeah.
Then how could there ever be a machlokas between the Tanaim and Amoraim about if you learn the Gzera Shava from this word over here in this context or the word over there in that context? If we know what the Gzera Shava is, then we should know it's this word in this pasuk and that word in that pasuk, and we know exactly what to learn.
Exactly. How can there be a machlokas about Gzera Shava? It comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. It's similar to what they ask on the Rambam. This is not our topic. The Rambam says Halach Moshe Mitzrayim. Goes back to Har Sinai. Right? How can there be a machlokas about Halach Moshe Mitzrayim? Right? Sroros and Bava Kama. Machlokas. How can there be a machlokas about Halach Moshe Mitzrayim? Goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, that's not our topic now. But that's also a similar kind of question. How can there be a machlokas about Gzera Shava? Right? If it's all goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu. Or the second question, how could there be different strengths of Gzera Shavas? Stronger, weaker? What do you mean? It's all Moshe Rabbeinu. It all goes back. Who cares how strong it is? Either it is or it isn't. It goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu. That's it. We have it. Mufna, open, mitzad echad, mitzad shnei tzadim. So the yesod that we mentioned from the Ramban also, and again, many Rishonim have this yesod. But one of the earlier ones is the Ramban. You'll see this yesod in various Rishonim throughout your travels through Shas. But it comes from this Ramban, one of the earlier sources, and that is not every detail of every Gzera Shava was given over. Basic words were given over. This word here, keves, is going to be used. What do you connect it to? You can figure that out. There's flexibility within the Gzera Shava. Yes, there's Mesorah, but there's also Svara given. And therefore, Gzera Shava symbolizes mostly Mesorah with a little Svara. Right? Other midos don't according, especially according to don't have a direct Har Sinai connection.
Rabbi, we lost you there for a few seconds.
You want to start recording again? The Archava is a symbol of Misora with a little Svara. And therefore, it's unique. It goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu. The other Midos don't have a direct connection to Moshe Rabbeinu specifically. That's all the Archava. Let's get into now Kal V'chomer. It's good when you guys move a little bit, so I notice that you're alive and you're not frozen. Okay, Kal V'chomer. That's the other extreme. How do we understand Kal V'chomer? How is it the other extreme? So Kal V'chomer is pure logic. Even Rashi in Sukkah says, Kal V'chomer, anyone in Chazal could say it. Any member of Chazal, and it can be knocked off easily. It's, so to speak, the weakest one. The weakest midah. Where do we see this? Where do we see it's the weakest? From the Halacha in Maseches Makos. Makos. The Gemara says there, again, one of the most challenging halachas to understand. But here we have it. Arguin eragin. Gemara Dafhema Bezim Etzeches Makos. Arguin eragin. Kasher Zamam, lo kasher also. When Edom Zomim want to try to kill somebody, right? If they try to kill Ruvain and they're caught, and they're killed. But if they actually succeeded in killing Ruvain, then they're pater. Pater. So what did the Tzdukim? The Tzdukim said no. The Tzdukim say, of course they're killed. They're killed. If I remember correctly, says the Gemara, Ein Onshin Min Hadin. You can't punish based on a Kal V'chomer. Like the Kesef Mishnah quoted this at the beginning of Tumas Meis. Question, why not? Why can't you punish based on a Kal V'chomer? You can punish based on everything else. You can punish based on a Gzera Shava, a Hekish, a Drasha. You could punish based on everything else. Only Kal V'chomer. Right? Bezdin cannot put anybody to death based on a Kal V'chomer. But all the other things that Bezdin can put somebody to death based on that. Why not? So there are at least 3 suggestions in the Mefarshim. And we're not going through this whole sugya, so I didn't give you all the sources. But one is Midahi Batorah. No, it's there Takatzev. You know what you've been adin, there Takatzev. Don't ask me why. Number 1. Number 2. Anybody see another answer through the Mefarshim? There's an amazing smag. An amazing smag. I didn't give you the smag inside, but I gave you the Marsha. The Marsha in Sanhedrin quotes the smag. What is the Marsha commenting on? The halacha of Molech. Halacha of Molech. Give you the Gemara in Sanhedrin Samach Dalid. Somebody passes their child through Molech. Avodah Zarah Molech passes their child through fire. The Molech. There's a machlokas, Rashi and the Rambam, whether the child actually dies, or you just pass the child through Molech. Like if the child dies, we need a separate Aveira for it. It's just murder. But also Molech. That's a machlokas rishonim. Whether by Molech they actually kill the children, or they just pass them through fire. Go look at the Sefer Chinuch on Molech. He quotes machlokas rishonim. The Gemara says if you give some of your kids to Molech, so then it's Asur Avodah Zarah. Says the Gemara, what if you pass all of your children to Molech? Have your kol zaro, pater. Pater. Not chayiv misa. Shene'emar, mi zaracha. The pater says if from your children, below kol zaracha, and not all your children. What? If you give some of your children to Molech, you're chayiv misa. If you give all your children to Molech, you're not chayiv misa. What are you talking about? Kal V'chomer. Could there not be a chi of misa? There's an amazing smag. The Marsha on that Gemara. The smag, of course, is one of the Sefer Mitzvos. Sefer Mitzvos Gadol, written by Rav Moshe Mikutzi. Rav Lezer Mikovil, I think, is the smak. But yeah, the smag, I gave it to you here. The Marsha quotes the smag. Where are we? Samach Dalad on the base. The Yeish Bazet Tam. Misas Bezdin Miskaprin Amumsin. Misas Bezdin brings kapara. Is there also Kokach Avera Gedola? She'ena Kadosh Baruch Hu wrote She'elo kapara. Wow. Why can you punish based on a Kal Vachomer? What do we say? If A is Chai Misa, surely B is Chai Misa. No, the point is that B might be so Chomor that Misa is not even going to help him. You just don't give him Misa. It's so bad, forget it. This punishment isn't going to help you. Hashem will take care of you. Hashem will take care of you in Shemayim. We're not going to kill you. Let God take care of you. Misa brings kapara. This guy's beyond the kapara of Misa, says the Smad. That's why you can't punish based on a Kal Vachomer. Because the Chamor might be so much more Chamor that the punishment is not going to suffice. And that's what he says here. That's what the Smag says by this case of Molech. And that's what the Marsha expands it. This is what it says everywhere. That's the Smag quoted there in the Marsha. So why do we say no Shemin Adin? Number one, Gzeras HaKatzim. The Torah said so. That's the Mitzvah we have. Number two, maybe the Chomer one is so bad. I gave you to look at. We're not going to focus on it. But the Kesef Mishnah in Hilchas Eidos says that's he quotes this Smag. That's Kasher Zamam Lo Kasher Rasa also. If the Edom Zoman actually killed Ruvain, forget it. We're not going to kill them. Let Hashem take care of them. The Marsha uses the Smag by Molech. The Kesef Mishnah in Hilchas Eidos uses the Smag for Kasher Zamav Lo Kasher Asa. And the Kesef Mishnah lived in between the Smag and the Marsha. Kesef Mishnah did not use the Marsha. The Marsha was 1700s, 1800s, Poland, Tikatin. Well, obviously the Smag was much earlier, one of the Baalei Atosfos. So that's the Kesef Mishnah. Hilchos Eidos uses that Smag. But there's a third approach for Einon Shemin Adin. What's the most basic approach that you might think of? Why do we say Einon Shemin Adin? Number one, Gzeras HaKatzim. Number two, it might not be enough. Number three, Nathanael.
If we can come up with it by ourselves, maybe it's not correct.
If it's pure logic, you're going to kill somebody based on logic. Who says the logic is correct? Who says it's perfect? Because Kal Vachomer is personal. Because anyone can say a Kal Vachomer, you can't take that chance. You can't take the chance to put somebody to death based on a Kal Vachomer or give them Malchus. Because maybe there's a Percha. Maybe there's a problem with the Kal Vachomer. Maybe there's a problem. You could say a Kal Vachomer, say Aser Mutter, but to punish somebody, we don't do that based on a Kal Vachomer. Exactly because of this reason, because Kal Vachomer is the unique one of the Midos. It's the only one that's purely based on logic, no Mesorah involved. And if there's no Mesorah involved, so then, one is much more risky. Much more risky. I saw there's a line, Rabbi Chanan in Kiddushin. I didn't give it to you to look at, I don't think. In Oz Pei Daled. In Oz Pei Daled. He quotes, it's a line in Maseches Kiddushin. Gemara there on Daf Yud says, I'll just read you the line on Yud Amud Beis. Muchsakani b'cha sha'ata baki b'chadri Torah. Lidrosh b'kal v'chomer iyata yodea. Gemara has a line. You know a basic notion. You're a baki in all of Torah. How can you not darshan the kal v'chomer? So Rabbi Chanan quotes his Rebbe, Reb Chaim Brisker. What does being a baki b'chadri Torah have to do with darshaning a kal v'chomer? What do they have to do with each other? Kal v'chomer is pure logic. So he says, my Rebbe Reb Chaim said, remember, Rabbi Chanan learned by the Reb Chaim and the Chavetz Chaim. He was Talmud of both. He had the Musar and he had the Lamdas. The Chavetz Chaim was the Lamdan also. That's what Shalom. They mean that, but I'm just saying the Lamdas of Reb Chaim and the Musar of the Kal v'chomer. He lidrosh the Kal v'chomer in ksarech lebekiyas. To say a Kal v'chomer, you don't have to know all of Shas. Based on logic. Avoleda shakal v'chomer hu shel kayama ve'ein alav shum pircha v'zet tzorach lios baki b'chadrei Torah. The logic itself, okay, maybe you could say, but to know whether your logic is against anything else in Kala Torah Kula, they have to know Kala Torah Kula. That's how we can't darshan the Kal v'chomer. The Baalei HaMesorah can darshan. Because a Kal v'chomer is not based on Mesorah, it's based on purely your logic. So you might have a problem within your inner logic. You might have a problem with different halacha, meaning if there's a halacha against your Kal v'chomer, then you get your Kal v'chomer. The efshar shak Kal v'chomer hu behilchus Shabbos, yishla pircha b'ginei tuma. How many times do we find in Shas? Gemara asks a kasha from something totally out of left field. Mammon is tuma, arachayim, yaredeya, because Kal Torah Kula is compared, is in Yenechad. So that's the shot of that line of the Gemara. Even if you want to say, A, your logic might be faulty, and number two, even if your logic is strong, there might be some other halacha somewhere out there. So a Kal v'chomer is unique. Human error is possible. So it's the opposite of Gzeir Shava. That's why it's the first two on the list. Gzeir Shava is Mesorah. Okay, there's a little flexibility. But it's Mesorah. It comes from Moshe Rabbeinu. Rashi in the two places. Remember, Rashi, it's like Har Sinai. As if it's written from Moshe Rabbeinu. Kal v'chomer is the opposite. You didn't even punish based on a Kal v'chomer. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe there's a difficulty. And all the others are somewhere in the middle. All the others are somewhere in the middle. It doesn't mean that Kal v'chomer is bad, but it can act based on a Kal v'chomer. Doesn't mean I shouldn't say it's weak. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about this yesterday. Gemara and Shabbos. Gemara and Shabbos. Remember the Gemara and Shabbos? It is tomorrow's Daf Yomi. Tomorrow's Daf Yomi. Tomorrow's Daf Yomi. Sorry, today's Daf Yomi. Take it back. Today's Daf Yomi. Today's Daf Yomi. Sachim Evav. Right, we're about to get into all the Kabbalah HaTorah Gemaras in Daf Yomi. Somebody called me last week with a Daf Yomi Shaila. I don't have Daf Yomi Keil Chasa at home, so I couldn't look up this answer. There is no such safer. But Shaila was, he gives Daf Yomi in Shul, he wanted to know, is it kfira, is it heretical to switch certain days of the week? Because Shabbos Peiches, which is Daf Yomi in 2 days, is all about Kabbalah HaTorah. He wanted to do that on Shavuos. He says, am I allowed to? Am I allowed to do the Daf Yomi 4 days after Shavuos on Shavuos because it's all about Shavuos? What would Rav Meir Shapiro say? It's a tough kasha. Tough kasha. Meaning, if you don't do the today's daf, you're disconnecting yourself from Tzibor. But Shavuos, I gave him an answer. Do both. Right? You cannot do today's daf, but it's also Shavuos next week. So find another hour. Find another hour and do both. Okay, I don't know what he did, but that was what I said. But on the Pevav, Zion, I'm sorry. Zion, tomorrow's Daf Yomi, right? Why did Moshe break the luchos? Who remembers? Why did Moshe break the luchos? What did he do? Somebody remind me? He darshan the Kal V'chomer. Oh. You can't punish based on a Kal V'chomer, but you can break the luchos based on a Kal V'chomer. That might be the greatest punishment in the world. But Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchos based on a Kal V'chomer. Evav Beis Zayin Amud Aleph in Shabbos. What was the Kal V'chomer? Two Kal V'chomers. Right? There were three things the Gemara says there. It's a famous Gemara. Three things the Gemara says. Moshe Rabbeinu darshan three things on his own, and Kodesh Baruch Hu was maskim. Yashar kochacha sheshibarta, which somebody once pointed out to me. He says, it's a makar for Ashkenazim. Why? Because it's shkoyach, it's not chazaku baruch. The Gemara says, Yashar koach sheshibarta. Okay, I'm not saying what's better, but I'm just saying that there's a makar to say shkoyach instead of chazaku baruch. But anyway, the Gemara says, I'm sure Rav Avadia would show me a million sources the other way, so I'm not starting up with anybody. But just noting that it says Yeshkoyach. But the Gemara says three things Moshe Rabbeinu did. He added on a day of preparation, and he was Parish Min Aisha, and he broke the luchos. So the Gemara says, Parish Min Aisha, my Darish. Kal V'chomers, Moshe Rabbeinu darshan Kal V'chomers. Why was he separate from his wife? He says, Uma Yisrael shelo dibra shchini imoim el shah achas. Hashem spoke to Bnei Yisrael only one time, and they had to separate for 3 days. The Kabbalah Zman, Hey Nechonim, Anisha Kol Shah V'Shashkin Medaberes to me. Hashem talks to me all the time. Any moment, Hashem talks to me. I better separate. And then Yisrael spoke to Hashem only once, and they had to separate. I speak to Hashem all the time. Of course, I have to separate. And then the Gemara says later on, why did he break the luchos? Kal V'chomer. If carbon Pesach, which is only one of the Taryag mitzvos, Amra Torah, Chol Ben Nechal Yochal Bo. Somebody who is a mumar, somebody who's an Oved Avodah Zarah, cannot eat carbon Pesach. Somebody who's over the can't eat carbon Pesach, that's only one mitzvah. So if they're a mumar, you for sure can't do all the mitzvahs. HaTorah Kuakan, the luchos have the whole Torah in it. Yisrael mumarin, halachas kama v'kama. So 2 out of the 3 halachas that Moshe darshaned, Kal V'chomer. The other one was like a hekesh, a drasha. But Moshe Rabbeinu darshaned Kal V'chomers. The Kal V'chomers are very strong. They're very important. There are Kal V'chomers in the Torah, but it's unique. It's a pole that it is separate from the other drashas Chazal. So again, that also might be why there's a limit on the Kal V'chomer, right? Our Gemara, Dayo. Why do we have Dayo? Can't go so far with the Kal V'chomer. Just like Ein Onshim and Adin, maybe that's also why. Can't go so far with the Kal V'chomer. There are limitations, more limitations on it than others as well. So it is unique. Okay, so this is the sugi of Kal V'chomer, Gzeir Shava. I'm going to end with one interesting halacha l'maisa makar. And that is the Rabbeinu Gershom, the Rishonim in Moed Katan, quote Rabbeinu Gershom. Taz on Shulchan Aruch. Taz in Yoreh De'ah in Hilchos Avelos quotes Rabbeinu Gershom. Who is Rabbeinu Gershom? One of the early Rishonim. Rashi's Rebbeim's Rebbe. Rashi's Rebbe's Rebbe. Just recently, I think on today's or yesterday's daf, Rashi quoted one of his Rebbeim in the name of Rabbeinu Gershom. So, Rabbeinu Gershom, Rahman al-Itzlan, one of his sons, went over to Christianity. Right? There was a forced expulsion. I looked up a little history. I don't really know much. There was a forced expulsion from Mainz, M-A-I-N-Z, in 1012. 1012, that year. 1012. About 1,008 years ago. It's a long time. The Rishonim lived 1,000 years ago. The early Rishonim. So 1,008 years ago, there was a forced conversion and expulsion, and Rabbeinu Gershom's son became a mumar. So there are different versions of the story. The way the Taz quotes it is that when his son died, his son predeceased him, he sat Shiva for 14 days. 14 days. Why? Quotes our Gemara. Kal V'chomer l'shchina. Al v'chomer l'shchina. What does that mean? Not 100% clear, but maybe he sat 7 days for his guf and 7 days for his neshama. Meaning, usually a neshama doesn't die. But if somebody dies a mumar, then maybe their neshama doesn't really get uplifted. There are different versions of whether he sat shiva right when the son became a mumar, or when the son died, he sat 14 days. That's how the Taz quotes it. The Taz quotes it as when he died. When he died, he sat shiva 14 days. It's in Yeridea Shin Mem Gimel in the Taz. Rabbeinu Gershom Yashav al Benosha Hamir Vames Yud Daled Yom. The Kavachomer L'Shchina Yud Daled Yom. He's using our Gemara in an unusual way. The way he's formulated in the Rosh himself and other Rishonim is that no, not when he died. When he went Mumar 7, and when he died 7. The Taz might not understand it that way because if somebody becomes a Mumar, you don't sit Shiva, right? You start davening that he does tshuva, right? If somebody dies without tshuva, okay, then it's done. That is the interesting line used from our Gemara for our. Okay, this is through Kavacham L'Shchina Yudal Yom. Hopefully, we learned some yisodos for life or many sugyas that come up often. The next sugya that we're going to talk about also, we're trying to do the most important, very important sugyas that are related in this parak that have to do with Yerusha issues. We're going to talk about the mitzvah that comes up in 2 daf from now, the mitzvah of Kavura. Mitzvah of Kavura. Let's at least start this. I gave you some sources. I don't know if you got to see some of them yet. But it comes up on Kuf Yud Beis on the next daf. The next daf, Kuf Yud Beis of an Aleph. Everybody with me? We're starting a new topic. New topic for another 2 days, and then we're going to get to the sugyas later on Kuf Chavav. Says the Gemara, Kuf Yud Beis Amid Aleph. Kuf Yud Beis Amid Aleph. Everybody see this Gemara? Everybody with me? Kuf Yud Beis Amid Aleph. The Gemara here is talking about the source for Al Yoresh Ishto and the source that a daughter's Elise the Shevet. So the Gemara has a suggestion. Where is the suggestion? Did anybody get to see these Marmakomos yet? Some of the Marmakomos on Kfura? Or should I not show them a little bit? Right? You know what? Before, I want you to see this Gemara inside to see where not everybody saw it. Let me just have a question which will lead into the sugya. A question which will lead into the sugya of Kfura, but see where it comes up on Kuf Yud Beis. Lead into the question. The Rambam in Hilchos Sanhedrin. Let's start with this. The Rambam and Asay Reish Lamed Aleph. Rambam and Asay Reish Lamed Aleph. Now it's the mitzvah of burial. There's a mitzvah to bury someone. Tivanu, the context, interesting. The context of the pasuk and the Gemara where this comes up is Bezdin killing somebody. He covered tikvarenu a pasuk in Kiseitze. What did Bishar Mesim? When she covered, call Meis mi Yisrael b'yom Oso. L'chein yikra ha-meis she'ein mishi yisasik b'kfuraso meis mitzvah. That's why. What's a meis mitzvah? Why is it called a meis mitzvah? Somebody doesn't have any place to bury them. It's a mitzvah to bury. So a meis mitzvah, it's a meis that requires you to do the mitzvah of burial. That's why meis mitzvah is called a meis mitzvah. Meis mitzvah. Problem. The Rambam in Hilchos Avel. The Rambam in Hilchos Avel. Perek Yud Daled, Halacha Aleph, tells us there's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Mitzvah saseh shel divreihem. The mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Levaker cholim, lenachim avelim, lahotzi hames, lahachnes hakala, labos archim, lasok kol tzarchei akvura. Says al kasev leilach upon a lisprod, lachmer v'likbar. Mitzvah d'Rabbanan. To bury. The Rama mad. Even though it's all Rabbanan, it's included V'after Kamocha. 1 second. The Ram said it's a mitzvah d'oraisa to bury. How could the Ram say it's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan here? The Ram quotes it a few times earlier in Hilchos Aval. I gave you a Ram to look at. It's Kfur d'oraisa, it's Kfur d'Rabbanan. What's the Ram talking about? D'oraisa or d'Rabbanan? Our Gemara has a line that it's inappropriate. That's how we're going to get into this sugya, to be buried in a burial plot that's not yours. Right, do the context of the Gemara for tomorrow. Nimsa tzadik kavur b'kever she'ena shalo. How could that be? What's the big deal? What's the big deal not being buried in your burial plot? You're buried. Why is it such a not an appropriate? We're going to talk about the mitzvah of burial. Is it d'oraisa? Is it Rabbanan? And it's a unique form of chesed, right? It's called chesed shel emes. We're going to try to go to a little deeper. What does it mean, chesed shel emes? I gave you something from Rav Shechter from Bikvei Hatzon. I put it out on the chat. We're going to get to something very deep about the mitzvah of burial, which is about this parak. It's about Nachlas and Yerusha, so it's appropriate for us to talk about this mitzvah of burial. Fascinating yanim, but I want you to have a chance to see the Marmakomos. So we'll stop here.